This story is titled, During a Girls' Night, My Fiancé Went Live on Social Media. She didn't know I was watching from a burner account. Someone asked if she loved me. She said he's reliable. Not forever. Her friends laughed and said he is so weak. I just shut the laptop. Now she's howling outside my condo after 61 unreturned calls. Hey everyone! Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. I, 32 male, work as a network engineer for this mid-sized tech company in the suburbs. $78,000 a year plus benefits. Not Silicon Valley rich, but comfortable enough to have some savings and not sweat when the car needs repairs. I spend my days fixing server issues, troubleshooting network outages, and explaining to executives why no, Karen from accounting can't have admin privileges just because she needs to install something for work. Most people's eyes glaze over when I try to explain what I actually do. They just know I'm the computer guy who fixes things when they break. Let me give you some background about myself since it matters for context. I grew up in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. Nothing special, just middle American suburbia with strip malls and high school football as the main entertainment. My parents split when I was 12. Pretty standard divorce story. Dad was a factory worker at Honda. Mom was a pediatric nurse. I lived with Mom during the week. Dad on weekends. They didn't hate each other, just grew apart, as they say. I was always the nerdy kid. Built my first computer at 14 from parts I saved up for by mowing lawns and shoveling snow. Got decent grades, not valedictorian or anything, but enough to get into Ohio State. Studied computer science, graduated with some debt but not crippling amounts. Worked my way through various IT jobs until I landed this network engineering position 4 years ago. Nothing exceptional about my life. I have a small group of close friends, mostly guys I game with or know from work. I drive a 2018 Subaru that's practical and reliable. My apartment is nice but not fancy. 2-bedroom in a decent complex, with covered parking and a gym I occasionally use. I've got a 401k that's doing okay, and about $65,000 in various savings accounts because my dad always drilled into me. Always have at least 6 months of expenses saved. I listen to podcasts about tech and sometimes history. I play video games to unwind. I watch sports sometimes, but I'm not the guy who gets angry when my team loses. Just a normal, stable dude. My fiancée Amber was everything I wasn't. 27, marketing coordinator at some trendy downtown agency with exposed brick walls and kombucha on tap. Making about $65,000 a year, but living like she was pulling 6 figures. Drop-dead gorgeous, blonde, gym-toned, always dressed like she was heading to a photo shoot, even if we were just grabbing groceries. When we first met at my buddy Dave's housewarming party 3 years ago, I couldn't believe she even talked to me. She was way out of my league, at least physically. I still remember that night. I was in the kitchen getting a soda when she walked up. "You're the only guy here not trying to get my attention," she said. "So naturally, you got my attention." I mumbled something about not being great at parties. She laughed like I'd said the funniest thing ever. "I'm Amber," she said, holding out her hand. "Mike," I replied, probably looking like an idiot. We talked for 2 hours straight. She seemed genuinely interested in my boring job, asked follow-up questions, laughed at my awkward jokes. I figured she was just being nice until she put her number in my phone and said, "Text me tomorrow." Not tonight. Tomorrow. So I know you're interested but not desperate. I texted at exactly 1 p.m. the next day. We went on our first date that weekend. Fast forward 2 years, and I proposed with a ring that cost me $4,800, nearly 3 months' salary that I had to save up for by cutting back on literally everything else. I remember eating ramen for dinner 3 times a week for months while still taking her to nice restaurants because it would be suspicious if we suddenly started going to cheaper places. The look on her face when I pulled out that ring was worth every penny, though. Or so I thought. Our relationship was good, or so I thought. Sure, there were little things that bothered me. She got annoyed that I didn't want to go out every weekend. She rolled her eyes when I suggested staying in to watch a movie instead of dropping $200 on dinner. She called me practical to a fault, while she maxed out credit cards on designer bags that all looked exactly the same to me. But she seemed to love me, and fuck, I loved her. The thing about Amber is she's obsessed with social media. Like, pathologically addicted. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat. You name it, she's posting on it. Everything from what she ate for breakfast to cryptic quotes when she's in a mood. At first, I thought it was cute, then annoying, then just accepted it as part of dating someone born after 1990. Babe, no one cares what your lunch looks like, I'd say. My followers do, she'd snap back. Some of us actually have a social presence. Not everyone wants to be invisible online like you. She had about 12,000 followers. Not influencer level, but enough to get free shit sometimes, from local boutiques, and think she was building her personal brand. Whatever the fuck that means. Our social media presence as a couple was carefully curated. I appeared in maybe 1 out of 20 posts, usually looking candid, after she made me pose 15 times. According to her Instagram, we were this perfect couple who went on amazing dates, took fantastic vacations, and never argued about her spending $300 on a purse when our hot water heater needed replacing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I knew she was high maintenance. I knew she was a bit shallow, but I thought underneath all that was someone who genuinely cared about me. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. So anyway, about a month ago, she tells me she's doing a girls' empowerment night with her work friends Megan and Kylie. Just face masks, snacks, and talking about career goals or whatever. She kissed me goodbye around 6:30, texted me at 7:15 with "miss you already, babe," and I settled in for a night of peace. Ordered a pizza, fired up my gaming PC to play some Elden Ring. Around 11, I realized something weird. She hadn't posted a single thing all night. This is a woman who takes pictures of her fucking shadow if it looks aesthetic. Not one boomerang of them doing face masks, no group selfies, no Instagram story of them dancing to Taylor Swift. Strange. I remembered this old burner Instagram account I made like a year ago when I was helping my company test some social media analytics tool. Different name, TechGuy487, no profile pic, 0 posts. I logged in out of curiosity and searched for Amber. There she was, on Instagram Live. Title, Girl Boss Night. About 45 people watching. I clicked. The camera was propped up on what looked like a water bottle. Amber and her friends were sitting on her friend's sectional sofa, sparkling water and snacks on the coffee table. They were all giggly, talking over each other and acting super energetic. Amber was reading comments from her phone. Thanks, Jenny Loves 94. Yes, this is my natural hair color. Then someone asked, how's wedding planning going with the IT guy? Megan leaned into frame. Yeah, Amber, is Mike even involved or are you doing everything? Amber rolled her eyes dramatically. Mike is, what's the word? He's so fucking basic. He's financially stable, which is the only reason I'm still with him. Good credit score, no debt, actual savings account. But God, the man wears the same 3 button-downs and thinks Olive Garden is a date night. They all laughed. Kylie chimed in. But he bought you that fat rock. Amber held up her hand, my 1.5 carat diamond sparkling. Yeah, only because I showed him exactly which one to buy and told him if it wasn't at least this big, I'd say no. Took him forever to save up for it too. Like, just put it on credit like a normal person. Then she looked directly at the camera and said, he's a stepping stone, not the destination. Once we're married and I get my business off the ground, who knows? People grow apart. She winked. Kylie laughed. Savage. Someone in the comments wrote, does he know you feel this way? LOL. Amber smirked. He doesn't watch my lives. He's probably playing video games like a teenager. Then she took another sip of her sparkling water and changed the subject to some diet she was trying. I sat there, controller forgotten in my hands, feeling like someone had punched me in the stomach. My brain kept replaying her words. Stepping stone, not the destination. 3 years together, engagement, wedding plans, talking about kids someday, and I was just a fucking ATM with a pulse to her. I didn't rage, didn't throw anything, didn't immediately call her out. I just sat there, letting the reality sink in. The woman I thought I was going to spend my life with had just publicly said I was nothing more than a financial plan, a means to an end, a fucking stepping stone. I exited out of the live but made sure to record the last few minutes using screen recording. Then I turned off my PC, went to bed, and stared at the ceiling until she texted that she was on her way home. Next morning, she comes home in workout clothes that cost more than my monthly car payment, drops her overnight bag, gives me a quick peck, and immediately starts making her detox smoothie with ingredients that cost about $15 per serving. How was your night? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. So fun. Just what I needed. Megan's thinking about leaving her boyfriend. He's such a loser. I nodded. Cool. What did you do? She asked, not looking up from her phone. Nothing much. Played some games, watched a movie. She muttered, already scrolling Instagram. That's when it hit me. I'd spent 3 years with someone who saw me as nothing but a financial plan. I remembered all the little comments that should have been red flags. When are you going to ask for a raise? Jake at my office makes way more than you. Can't we go somewhere nicer for vacation? My followers will think I'm dating a broke guy. Don't you want to apply for that management position? The salary bump would help with the wedding. Every conversation circled back to money, status, appearances. She'd critique my clothes, my haircut, my car, all while spending my money on her lifestyle. In the 3 years we'd been together, she'd never once asked about my dreams, my childhood, what made me happy. And like an idiot, I'd been too grateful that a hot girl was interested in me to notice she was just using me. Let me give you some examples of how one-sided things were. 1. My dad had a health scare last year. Possible heart attack that turned out to be severe indigestion. I was worried sick. Amber's response? Can we talk about this later? I'm trying to finish this sponsorship post. 2. I got passed over for a promotion I really wanted. When I told Amber, she said, well, maybe if you dressed better for work, people would take you more seriously. Want me to help you shop for better clothes? Not, I'm sorry, or that sucks. Just immediately how it was my fault. 3. For my 31st birthday, I wanted to have a few friends over for grilling and games. She vetoed it because it wouldn't look good on Instagram, and instead organized a dinner at a trendy restaurant where she invited her friends, took tons of photos, then spent the entire time talking to them, while I sat there feeling like a prop. 4. Every time we visited my parents, she'd be on her phone the whole time, then complain on the drive home about how boring they were. But I had to be fully engaged and charming when we visited her family. The list goes on. For 3 years, I'd been making excuses for her behavior. She's just stressed. She grew up differently. She has high standards. But watching that Instagram live cut through all the bullshit. This wasn't love. This was a transaction to her. And I was getting the raw end of the deal. For the next week, I played it cool. I went to work, came home, acted normal. But inside, I was taking inventory of our relationship, our finances, our future. Not out of anger, out of self-respect. Because I realized something. I deserved better than being someone's fucking stepping stone. While Amber was busy posting wedding inspiration boards and honeymoon destination polls, I was methodically untangling our lives. First, I did a full accounting of our finances. Here's how things stood. My annual salary, $78,000 before taxes. Her annual salary, $65,000 before taxes. My savings, approximately $65,000 across various accounts. Her savings, about $4,300, which disappeared whenever a designer had a sale. Joint savings for wedding honeymoon, $32,400, of which I had contributed $28,000. My retirement accounts, $112,000. Her retirement accounts, zero, because that's for old people. Monthly rent, $2,200. I paid $1,700. She paid $500 because my job is more stressful. Utilities, 100% me. Groceries, mostly me, except for her specialty items which she bought. Car payments, each paid our own. Her credit card debt, $22,000 across 4 cards. My credit card debt, $0 because I pay it off monthly. Looking at it laid out like that was a wake-up call. I was being financially drained while she was living beyond her means on my dime. Next, I called the venue where we'd booked our wedding. $15,000 deposit, mostly from my savings. I explained the situation to the manager, a middle-aged woman named Karen. So you're calling to cancel? She asked. Not exactly, I replied. I'm calling to see if I can transfer the reservation to a different name and get my deposit back. We don't usually... My fiancée publicly announced she's only marrying me for financial stability and plans to leave me once she gets what she wants. I have video evidence. Silence. Then, let me see what I can do. Karen came through. Not only did she agree to refund my deposit, but she also put a note in their system that Amber couldn't rebook the date if she tried. The refund would take 30 days to process, which worked perfectly for my timeline. Next, I contacted our honeymoon resort in Bali. $8,200 package, fully refundable up to 60 days before. Easy. I called my bank and explained I needed to separate our finances discreetly. The joint savings account had about $32,400 in it, roughly $28,000 of which was my money. I had documentation of all my deposits. The banker helped me move my portion to a new private account at a different bank entirely. Then I called my landlord. We'd moved into my apartment when we got engaged, but only my name was on the lease. I need to break my lease early, I explained. Personal emergency. That's a $2,000 fee, he replied. What if I found you a new tenant? We'd waive the fee. Perfect. I had a buddy whose lease was ending the following month. He was looking for a place and my apartment was in his price range. Win-win. I booked a small furnished apartment across town, month-to-month lease, $1,800 per month, which was less than I was paying for our larger place. I arranged movers for Thursday, when Amber would be at an all-day marketing conference. The final touch? I went back to the Instagram Live. It was still up. I recorded the entire thing, had it transcribed, saved screenshots. Not for blackmail, for closure. So that when my mind tried to gaslight me later with, maybe it wasn't that bad, I'd have evidence. Then I logged out of everything we shared. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, even our shared photo storage. I removed my credit card from all her linked accounts. I also made a list of all the things I owned before we moved in together versus what we'd bought jointly. Anything we purchased together, I was leaving behind. Anything that was mine before, I was taking. Fair is fair. The plan wasn't about revenge. It was about self-preservation. About extracting myself from a toxic relationship with minimal drama. About starting over with my dignity intact. And I waited. The day before the plan went into action, I had a moment of doubt. 3 years is a long time. We had memories, inside jokes, routines. I almost called it off. Almost. Then I overheard her on the phone with Megan. Yeah, the venue is booked. It's not as upscale as I wanted, but it's what we can afford with Mike's budget. I'm working on him for the upgraded catering package. He keeps talking about staying within budget. But I mean, it's my wedding day, right? There it was again. My wedding day. Not our wedding day. Like I was just the wallet making her princess fantasy come true. Doubt gone. Thursday arrived. Amber left at 7 a.m. for her conference, dressed in a blazer that cost more than my first car, kissing me goodbye with a distracted, "Love you, make dinner reservations for tonight. I'm networking with VPS." As soon as she left, I texted the movers. All clear. They arrived at 8. I had everything boxed and labeled. My clothes, electronics, personal items, family heirlooms. We were done by 10. I left behind anything we'd bought together. The overpriced sofa she'd insisted on. The dining set that had to match her aesthetic. The bed we shared. I put the engagement ring, the one I'd worked overtime for months to afford, in a water glass on the kitchen counter. Poetic, I thought, since she'd been drinking sparkling water when she revealed her true feelings. I didn't leave a note. Didn't need to. She had broadcast to the world what she thought of me. I was just taking her at her word. By noon, I was setting up my new place. By 2, I had my internet working. By 5, I was sitting on my new couch. Nothing fancy, just comfortable, when my phone exploded. The first call came at 5:23 p.m. I let it go to voicemail. Then another. And another. The first voicemail. "Mike? Where are you? Where's your stuff? Call me back. This isn't funny." The second. "Are you fucking kidding me? You moved out? Over what? Call me." The third. "If this is about that stupid Instagram Live, you're being ridiculous. It was just girl talk. You know I love you. Please call me." They got progressively more desperate. Then angry. Then tearful. Text messages flooded in. 5:42. "Mike, where are you?" 5:43 p.m. "Why is your stuff gone?" 5:45 p.m. "Answer your phone." 5:52. "Is this a joke? Because it's not funny." 6:01 p.m. "I can't believe you do this to me." 6:08 p.m. "Over one stupid comment? Really?" 6:15 p.m. "You're acting like a child." 6:23 p.m. "The ring too? Seriously?" 6:30 p.m. "I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is an extreme reaction." 6:45 p.m. "Please just call me so we can talk about this." 7:03 p.m. "Mike, I'm worried about you." 7:15 p.m. "If you don't call me back, I'm calling the police to do a wellness check." 7:32 p.m. "I'm coming to find you." I turned my phone off. When I turned my phone back on the next morning, I had 78 missed calls, 134 text messages, 23 voicemails, and notifications that she'd tried to log into my email and bank accounts. I didn't respond to any of it. Around noon, a text from my buddy Dave. "Dude, Amber is having a complete meltdown on social media. Did you guys break up?" I checked her Instagram. She'd posted a tearful selfie, makeup strategically smudged, with the caption, "When the person you thought would stand by you forever abandons you without even a conversation, men really will waste years of your life and walk away without explanation." The comments were split. Her regular followers gave her sympathy. "You deserve better, girl. Men are trash. His loss, honey." But there were others. "Wasn't this the guy you called a stepping stone on your live? Didn't you say you were only with him for financial stability? I saved that live? Want me to post it?" She was frantically deleting comments, but they kept coming. By evening, she showed up at my new place. I still don't know how she found the address, probably through a mutual friend. The building has secure entry, so she couldn't get in. She stood outside, calling my name, alternating between sobbing and screaming. Mike, please, I didn't mean any of it. It was just stupid girl talk. You can't throw away 3 years over one mistake. I love you. The wedding is in 4 months. What am I supposed to tell people? I watched from my window, 4 floors up. I felt nothing. Not anger, not heartbreak, not satisfaction. Just peace. Like I'd removed a parasite that had been draining me for years. Security eventually asked her to leave or they'd call the police. She left, but the text continued. You're being so immature. I can't believe you did this to me. What about the venue? The flowers? My dress? Notice how it was all about her. Not once did she say she missed me, just what I provided. The final blow came when she realized what else I'd done. Why is my credit card declined? Did you cancel our cards? I hadn't. I'd simply removed mine as the backup payment method on her maxed out cards. I finally sent one text. You said I was a stepping stone. I'm just helping you move on to that destination you mentioned. Good luck with your journey. Her response was immediate. That's not fair and you know it. I was just talking shit with my friends. Everyone does that. I didn't reply. She tried a different angle. What about all the wedding deposits? We're going to lose thousands of dollars. I didn't reply. She escalated. My parents already bought plane tickets. What am I supposed to tell them? I didn't reply. She tried guilt. I thought you were different. I thought you really loved me. I didn't reply. She tried threats. I'm going to tell everyone what an asshole you are. I didn't reply. She tried one last plea. Can we please just talk? In person? I still love you, Mike. After 24 hours of silence from me, she posted again on Instagram. This time it was an angry rant about how men can't handle strong women and run away from confrontation and break promises when things get tough. Again, the comments were mixed. Her die-hard followers supported her, but others were skeptical. Someone had apparently recorded parts of her Instagram live and it was circulating. Her attempts to play victim were backfiring. I still said nothing. A week passed. I went to work, came home, started rebuilding my life. I told my boss what happened in case Amber tried to contact me at work. He was supportive, said to take time off if I needed it. I didn't. I got texts from mutual friends asking what happened. I kept it simple. Amber made it clear she was with me for financial stability, not love. I believed her and acted accordingly. Some understood. Some thought I was overreacting. I didn't care. The hardest part was her family. Her mom called me crying, asking what happened. I liked her mom. She'd always been kind to me. I explained as gently as I could. She was quiet for a moment, then said, I'm sorry. I raised her better than that. Amber tried a new strategy. She started showing up at places she knew I frequented. My favorite coffee shop, the gym, the comic book store, always coincidentally there when I arrived. I changed my routines. Then she tried mutual friends, asked them to talk to me, to arrange accidental meetings. Most refused. Those who tried got shut down quick. She made her feelings clear, I told them. I'm just respecting her honesty. Through it all, I maintained radio silence with her directly. No calls, no texts, no emails. I knew that any engagement would just prolong the pain and drama. This wasn't about punishing her. It was about respecting myself enough to walk away from someone who saw me as a means to an end rather than a partner she truly loved. 2 weeks passed. I blocked her on everything and focused on rebuilding. Got a promotion at work. Turns out when you're not constantly being told you're not good enough, your confidence improves. Started hitting the gym again. Reconnected with friends she deemed not good enough for our social circle. Then the financial reality hit her. See, Amber had been living well beyond her means, counting on my income and savings to cover the gap. Without me, things fell apart fast. First, she couldn't make rent. My former landlord contacted me saying she was 3 weeks late and asking if I knew how to reach her. Not my problem anymore, I replied. But I know someone looking for a place if you need to fill it quickly. Next, her car got repossessed. She'd been making minimum payments on a BMW she couldn't afford, and without my loans. That never got repaid. The bank took it back. Then her friends started distancing themselves. Turns out Megan and Kylie liked partying with Amber when she was covering the bill with my credit card. Without that, they found other friends. The real karma, though? That marketing conference she'd attended on the day I moved out? She'd been trying to network for a new job, a higher-paying position at a bigger agency. She got the job and then lost it when the hiring manager saw her social media meltdown. In her industry, public image matters, and hers had tanked. I know all this not because I was stalking her or asking around. I know because she couldn't stop herself from documenting her downfall on social media, interspersed with cryptic quotes about betrayal and finding your strength. She emailed me from a new address since I'd blocked her main one. Mike, I'm desperate. I can't make rent, my car's gone, I might lose my job. I know I don't deserve it, but I need help. Just a loan to get back on my feet. I'll pay you back, I swear. Please, I have nowhere else to turn. I waited 3 days, then replied, that sounds really challenging. Have you considered that maybe this is just a stepping stone to something better? People grow apart from their financial problems all the time. Good luck with your journey. Was it petty? Maybe. But it felt fucking good to throw her words back at her. She must have shown my response to someone, because my phone blew up with texts from her friends calling me heartless, cruel, a monster for abandoning someone in need. I sent them all the same thing, a link to the saved Instagram live where their friend had revealed her true feelings about me. The texts stopped. Around this time, I got an unexpected message from Kylie, one of her friends who had been there during the infamous live. Hey Mike, I know you probably hate me and that's fair, but I wanted to say I'm sorry for laughing along with what Amber said that night. It wasn't cool. She's been saying that kind of stuff for a while, and I just went along with it. You seem like a good guy, and you deserved better. I appreciated the apology, but didn't pursue the conversation. I was moving on. The final update came last week. I heard through mutual friends that Amber had to move back in with her parents in the suburbs. Her personal brand collapsed when someone created a compilation video of all her materialistic posts alongside the clip of her calling me a stepping stone. She lost most of her followers, and with them, her identity. Her parting shot was a long Instagram post about her journey of self-discovery and how she was taking time to reflect on toxic relationship patterns. She never admitted what she did wrong, never took responsibility for her actions. Classic Amber. Meanwhile, I'm dating again. Nothing serious, just enjoying meeting people who actually want to know me, not what I can provide. My new apartment feels like home. I'm saving for a house now, one that I'll buy because I like it, not because it'll look good on someone's Instagram. Sometimes I think about how close I came to legally binding myself to someone who saw me as nothing but a wallet with legs. It would have been alimony payments, possibly child support, years of manipulation and gaslighting, all avoided because she couldn't resist the validation of strangers on a live stream. The wedding would have cost me $35,000. The divorce would have cost me much more. Instead, I invested that money in myself. Best return I'll ever get. Update. It's been just over 6 months now since I walked away from Amber and that life. Thought I'd give you guys an update since the original post got so much attention. First off, thanks for all the support. The comments and messages really helped during those first few weeks when I was second-guessing myself. To the few who called me an asshole for how I handled it, maybe you're right, but I don't regret it. So here's where things stand. That promotion I mentioned turned into an even better opportunity. One of our clients offered me a position as their IT director, $110,000 a year, plus bonuses and stock options. I took it. First time in my life I've had a six-figure salary. The irony that this happened right after Amber complained about my earnings isn't lost on me. I bought a house. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bedroom ranch in a nice neighborhood with good schools, thinking long-term here. The down payment came from what would have been our wedding fund. Every time I walk through the front door, I feel a sense of peace, knowing it's mine. No one can tell me what color to paint the walls or complain that my furniture isn't aesthetic enough. The dating scene has been interesting. I've gone out with a few women. Some great, some not so great. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing. The difference is now I'm looking for a partner, not just someone who looks good in photos. I want someone who asks about my day and actually listens to the answer. Someone who doesn't see my stability as something to exploit, but something to match. As for Amber, I've kept my distance, but it's a small city, so I hear things. She's still living with her parents, still posting inspirational quotes and selfies, but her engagement numbers have tanked. She tried to rebrand as a personal growth coach, but it didn't take off. Last I heard, she's working at a retail store at the mall, the same one she used to make fun of people for shopping at. The funniest part? She's dating some guy who looks exactly like me. Same build, same hair color, similar style. But from what mutual friends tell me, he drives a leased luxury car he can barely afford and lives in a fancy apartment that's eating up 50% of his income. All flash, no substance. She found her match. Her final attempt to contact me came about 2 months ago. She sent a handwritten letter to my new house. Still not sure how she got the address. Pages and pages about how she'd grown and changed and realized what's really important in life. She ended it by asking if we could get coffee sometime. I didn't respond. Some people asked in the comments of my original post if I ever felt bad about how things turned out for her. The honest answer is sometimes, briefly. There were good times in those 3 years. Moments when I thought what we had was real. But then I remember her face on that Instagram live, the casual cruelty in her voice when she called me a stepping stone, and any guilt evaporates. You know what's funny? If she had just said those things in private to her friends, I probably never would have known. I might be married to her right now, thinking she loved me while she planned her exit strategy. In a weird way, her need for social media validation saved me from a much worse fate. So that's it. The story doesn't have some dramatic conclusion. No big confrontation, no tearful reconciliation, no blockbuster ending. Just me, building a better life on my own terms while she deals with the consequences of her actions. And if there's a lesson here, I guess it's this. Pay attention to who someone is when they don't think you're watching. That's who they really are. Oh, and if anyone calls you a stepping stone, believe them the first time.